Alright guys, we're going to try to do this over again. Welcome to WMMA Scene Report, episode number 5, week 5, our weekly show. We're going to go over weekly fight results, fight announcements, news, and I'm going to try to do a discussion every week. Fortunately, I was having PC problems earlier, so if you tried watching that stream, please ignore it. And I just having really bad luck lately because supposed to be doing a stream yesterday, came home, crashed from too much caffeine and fell asleep. So we're gonna start over again. All right, so fight results from this past weekend. Friday night, Combate Americas 25, Alitzel Mariscal defeated Brenda Enriquez by unanimous decision in the atomweight division. Pretty good fight. Last I checked yesterday, it was the full event was still available on the DAZN app. So if you don't have that, you definitely should, because they're getting a lot more adding a lot more MMA to it, including Road FC, which is going to have an event this weekend with a ladies fight. Good fight. Go check it out. Saturday night, UFC Fight Night in Moncton, 135-pound division. Toledo Bernardo defeated Sarah Morris by unanimous decision. If you haven't seen it yet, I've done a full review on that fight, full review video. Please go check it out. And if you have watched it, thank you. It's actually getting a lot of reviews. Also on Saturday night was the King of the Cage 20th anniversary show, which was main evented by the women's strawweight title fight. So good on King of the Cage, you know, big event for them, you know, 20 years in the business, and they had a women's title fight headlining. Loveth Patrion defeated Cynthia Arcio via first round rear naked choke. Very fast fight. I don't think it even went past the 3-minute marker. Also did a review on that. If you haven't checked it out yet, check that out. I believe that you can watch the full fight on King of the Cage Facebook page or on YouTube at the page React Q2. So definitely go check that fight out. It was very exciting while it lasted. Fight announcements for the next month or so. November 17th, Combate Americas 26. Bringing the atomweights back, we have Irene Rivera versus Yahira Chocolate Romo. November 30th, we have in the Bellator 210 125-pound flyweight division, we have Christina Warhorse Williams versus Bruna Ellen. We all know who Christina Williams is from when she bloodied up Heather Hardy. And if you haven't seen Bruna Ellen fight yet, go check some of her fights out at Bellator.com. It's either Bellator.com or BellatorMMA.com. Tough Chick should make for a very good fight. And then on December 8th at EFC 76, we have the strawweight title fight between Kiara Penko versus Cheyenne Vlismas. Cheyenne Vlismas just won a fight a few weeks back, won a split decision over Karolina Vocic. And that was a short notice fight in flyweight. I'm going to be working on the review video for that after this stream ends. News. Unfortunately, not very good news for this week. Mallory Martin was scheduled to face Ayaka Miura at Pancrase 301 on November 25th. She unfortunately has had to withdraw, and now Ayaka Miura will be facing from Brazil, Tarciera Pitbull Santos. So another Brazilian girl named Pitbull. I swear, I think you could sometimes probably walk into a Brazilian MMA gym, throw a stone, and chances are you will hit someone named Pitbull. And then they'll probably beat the crap out of you for throwing a stone. And then, unfortunately, UFC Fight Night 140, November 17th, Marina Moroz had to drop out of her flyweight fight against the debuting in the UFC Ariane Violence Queen Lipski. Marina Moroz posted a picture of herself on Instagram She has, looks like her left ankle is in a cast, and then she also posted up the x-rays with the caption, "Hi friends, I am very sad. I got injured and not be able to have a fight. I want to say thank you, my team." What is her team? WMMA. This is a sport. Sounds like a bad translation. And as of earlier today, I saw a tweet. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but the UFC has not been able to find a replacement for Ariane Lipski, so they've had to pull her from the event. Hopefully they'll find a fight for her before the end of the year. I mean, that was only 2 weeks out, little over 2 weeks. Pretty sad, honestly. Shouldn't be any real shortage of flyweights able to fight her. Problem is, you know, Lipski's coming in with a reputation. She's very tough. She's called the Violence Queen for a reason. It'll be interesting to see who the UFC can match her up with next. Ooh, that's smooth. Gonna keep this stream short. I don't want to run over into, I think the MMA holes start at 9, and I like to watch them. A lot of my viewers like to watch them, so I'm going to keep this short. The discussion topic for this week. So, Sarah Kaufman posted on IG recently. Let me see if I can bring this up and I'll read it to you guys. A-R-A-H-K-A-U Kaufman. I was also on Twitter. She's asking, I know she wasn't exactly happy that she hasn't been booked to defend her title yet. I guess she thought she should have been headlining the event, or Invicta should have booked her or someone by now. I think, I think she said on Twitter, you know, "I'd like to be headlining Invicta 34. Attention all 135ers, who is ready to step up and challenge for my belt? Does nobody want to take my shiny hardware? Hashtag let's go." So, I saw on Sherdog forums, I believe it was the gentleman who runs Wombat Sports had talked to Shannon Knapp as an interview up there on his website, so go check that out at wombatsports.wordpress.com. Just a short interview with her. Talks about Invicta FC 133. Anyway, Shannon Knapp's reason for not having Sarah Kaufman booked yet for her first title defense was that they don't have any fighters on currently on their roster who are ready to step up and challenge Sarah for the title yet. You know, Sarah, she's been fighting for a while now. She has a lot of experience. She is probably the single best 135-pounder outside the UFC. It's almost a wonder why the UFC hasn't brought her back up yet. Maybe with another good win or two, they will. They could definitely use her. UFC's 135-pound division has been weakened a little bit by the introduction of the flyweight division. So what I did was I worked on a list of possible challengers. A few of them are already fighting for Invicta. 4 of them, actually, will be fighting against each other at the next Invicta FC event on, what is it, November 16th. So, here, going down the list. First up, and most of these names I got from the rankings at Tapology.com. I'm not the biggest fan of how they rank fighters, but it is a pretty extensive list. They go all the way down to number 50, which I believe that makes it the longest ranking list. So first up, I have Leslie the Peacemaker Smith. Everyone knows who she is. She's fought in Invicta, the UFC. She's fought from 125 up to she fought Cyborg at a catchweight in 140. Since she fought Cyborg, she has 2 wins, 1 decision, and the most recent win was by TKO. The only problem I see with this is that I believe Leslie has talked in interviews that one of the places she doesn't want to head back to go to since being released by the UFC is Invicta. Best guess is probably pay. Not sure if that's the truth, if there's any truth to that or not. We'll see. Next up, out of Russia is, I'm sorry, not Russia, Georgia. Don't want to offend any Georgians. Liana Jojua, she is 7-2. She is currently riding a 5-fight win streak with 1 win this year by unanimous decision. She is a top prospect fighting out of, the former Soviet Union area. Very promising fighter. And her only losses so far, let me check, are to... we're both in 2016 to Zamzagul Faizalanova, who I'm guessing Liana went up in weight for that one. And then she lost to Na Liang. So no shame in either of those losses, because Na Liang's probably one of the top prospects currently in China who's not signed to a larger promotion. Next up, going down the list, is the first of the fights going on in Invicta. Alexa Connors, she currently holds a 5-2 record. She fought in Invicta earlier this year where she got a TKO win, and she is taking on Julia Avila, who currently holds a 5-1 record with she's riding 1 win. She's fought twice so far in 2018. First fight was a loss due to a hand injury in the first round against Marcia Allen. And then she came back in August where she won a fight against Ashley Dean by, sounds like KO or TKO round 1. So winner of Alexa Connors versus Julia Avila could make a very good contender, and they're already signed to Invicta. Next, going down the list, we have Stephanie Geltmacher, who is 3-0. Now, 3-0, big disparity in experience if she were to face Sarah Kaufman. That's why I'm saying the winner of her versus Liz Tracy. Liz Tracy is 5-2. She has two fights this year, both wins. Unanimous decision win against Susie Watson and King of the Cage in February, and then she fought Sherry Muraski and won a unanimous decision in May. So the winner of that could possibly make for a good contender for Sarah Kaufman. Next down the list is, where's she at? Jocelyn Edwards, riding a very impressive win streak. She's 8-1. She's fought twice in 2018. Finished in both of those fights. TKO and a submission, looks like. Yep, won by punches in round 1. And then the later fight was back in September at King of the Cage, where she won by a second-round armbar. And she is riding a 6-fight win streak. Her last loss was in 2015 in her second fight. So, and looking at her opponents, not the strongest strength of schedule, although her last win against Brenda Gonzalez is pretty impressive. Brenda Gonzalez was 8-3 at the time. So Jocelyn Edwards making a good argument for a possible contender at Invicta FC in the bantamweight division. Going down the list, we're going over to Russia. Egul Kabarova. Now, she is coming off a loss earlier, a few months ago, to Lilia Shakarova. That was back in September. All but one of her fights have come in the Far East Modern Pancration promotion, but she has shown promise. She does have some good wins against opponents of, similar experience to her at the time she faced them. Biggest win is probably against Karina Vasilenko back in January. She was 3-0 at the time, and Karina Vasilenko was 3-3. But apparently she is a promising 5-1 fighter out of Russia, is Egor Kabarova. Going down the list, also out of Russia, so the third fighter out of that, big wide expanse there. Zaira, Golden Girl, Deshekova, she's 5-2, riding a 3-fight win streak. Fought once earlier this year, winning by TKO over Anastasia Nikolaeva. Now, her strength of schedule, her last 2 fights has been very weak. I'm not going to cover that up. Her last 2 opponents were making their pro debuts according to Tapology. Now, I will say this. I love Tapology, but they don't always get fight results in. I was checking on a Chinese fighter earlier that I know had a fight recently a couple weeks ago, and they still don't have anything up for that event. So maybe they do have more fights than that. I don't know. I'll have to check on that and let you guys know. But one win she does have back in 2016 is over former Invicta bantamweight champion and now current UFC fighter Yana Kunitskaya, where she beat her by first round armbar. Going down the list, Brenda Boom Boom Gonzalez. She's 9-4. She has 2 fights this year already. One loss by submission and then a win by TKO. Next down is Melissa Gatto. She's 6-0-2. She's fought 3 times this year in 4 times in 2018. 4 fights this year alone. Won all but one of them. One says to be TBD. I don't know what that means. A draw. So she's 3-0-1 this year, which I'll tell you what, you fight 4 times in a year, doesn't matter who you're fighting against, you're definitely pushing yourself, which I like to see. Like to see active fighters. And then the last one I have on here is Giselle Moea. Looks like she's out of Brazil. She's 8-2, riding a 5-fight win streak dating back to 2016. She has 1 fight so far this year by unanimous decision. So, guys, I'm keeping it short this week, mostly because of the PC troubles I had earlier. I had to switch to my phone. Hopefully, get that fixed for next week. Plus, I have to get some fight reviews done tonight. If you guys have any idea of who you think Sarah Kaufman should fight, please put it in the comments down there below. And I'll tell you what, I'm really excited for the month of November. This is the fight calendar that I have worked up so far for November. We have this weekend, we have Road FC 50 has 1 fight. UFC 230 has a fight or 2. Next Friday, we have 1 fighting championship, 1 championship. Big main event, 2 Andrea Lee taking on, jumping up in the division to take on Jinyan Zhang. Saturday, we have UFC Fight Night 139. The 15th, we have Bellator 209. 16th, huge night for women's divisions. We have Invicta 32. We have an LFA event. The Invicta 32 event, I will be live streaming Fight Companion for that. If you want to wake up early that morning, I sometimes do. For any overseas events, we have TFC 19 co-main event, strawweight fight. The 17th, we have UFC Fight Night 140, and also Combate Americas 26. Saturday, the 24th. I'm going to have to wake up early for this one, I believe. It's going to be a Fight Pass only card, but it's the UFC fight night event in Beijing. First time ever in Beijing, and there's going to be 3, count them, 3 ladies fights on that card, including promising prospects Xiaonan Yan, or Yan Xiaonan, and Zhang Wei Li. So, both exciting strikers. You're not going to want to miss that. If you want, sleep in, but don't wake up and check the results. Sleep in because it's Saturday, but get up, get on Fight Pass, and watch those fights. Because I've never seen a boring fight out of Yan or Zhan. Zhan. So definitely go check those out. And then Sunday, the 25th, we had that fight I mentioned earlier at Pancrase 301. It's going to be Ayaka Miura versus Tarsier Pitbull Santos. And then closing up the month of November on the 30th, Friday, is the Tough 28 finale, which should have at least one women's fight because of the 145-pound division finale. Now, I haven't been keeping up with this tough season. I thought it was kind of pointless to do 145. I think 135 could have used it more. And they went with almost entirely 135-pound fighters. So, make of that what you will. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for tonight. Let me know what you're thinking out there, especially the regarding the Sarah Kaufman matter in the comments down below. And other than that, guys, have a good night. See you in a week.